Awareness is minimizing the distance between what people see as their reality of you and what you see as your reality of you. And the only way to shrink that area is by asking. I felt like the rug was ripped off from underneath my feet and all my energy was gone. I was frustrated. Then I changed the way I listened, right? Because Strengths helped us with this. And I thought, oh wow, she's got some really fine processing stuff that I don't have. You don't have to worry about productivity as much. You don't have to worry about the bottom line. That will come if people are actually enjoying their work and working out of that gifting that they've got.
Well, welcome back to the That's Fire podcast. Today I have with me one of those guys it's just a pleasure to have as a friend and someone I don't see too often, but someone I always enjoy hanging out with. So this is Blue Bradley. Welcome, Blue.
Hey, team.
Did your mother like the colour blue?
Must have.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the way I came out.
There you go. That's not good. That's not good. Well, Blue's a lot of things. Blue's a strengths coach. In case you don't know, it's the Gallup organisation.
Gallup University in America.
Yeah, they have a thing called Strengths Finder, and they have certified strengths coaches that they train, have trained up all around the place. And Blue's probably probably New Zealand's most known strengths coach, I would say.
Come on.
I'm talking you up now.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, all the strengths coaches would look up to you, I would say, probably, wouldn't they?
I think back in the day when Strengths first came to New Zealand, there was a few of us, in Tauranga particularly. There's 7 of us that went over and trained in the States.
Yeah.
And so I was the first one in Auckland. So I was part of the first group that came. So OG for New Zealand.
Yes,
which means that when you develop stuff and put it out there. But there's a lot of coaches now. It's good.
Yeah, good. Oh, that's a very humble response. So it'll be good to find out a little bit about strengths coaching and what that means and what you do. And Blue's also outside of that, you lead. You're involved in charitable work, and that organisation you lead. Easter Camp. It's a big event, massive event. So you're involved in a big leadership way. Not just in that, but also in terms of coaching, even not strengths coaching, but coaching leaders and other types of stuff, and often on a volunteer basis. So that's awesome. So great to have you with us.
Good to be here.
Yeah. First off, mate, tell us a bit about Strengths Finder and Strengths Coaching. So, because most of these guys listening, a lot of them they're business owners and so on. So,
what's the deal about strength coaching? Sounds naff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I was young, I was just looking for some tools about how to become self-aware, really.
Right.
And there's a number of tools out there, and I've trained in a number of tools. So I used to co-lecture something called the Enneagram back then. It's the oldest personality tool out there, sort of the Sufis made that way back in the day. So that's the tool of collective wisdom. And then the most worldwide tool used out there, personality types, is something called Myers-Briggs dichotomy test. And so I trained in that. And Strength Finder came along, and it was a really different sort of tool. And so I went and trained in that in the States and helped bring it back to New Zealand with a number of us. And what I liked about Strength Finder over the other tests is that it didn't tell me I was either this or this. I didn't have to do this deep, dark, mystical drive into what I call collective or communal affirmation of the results that you get,
Right.
Strengths Finder was more like a sifting tool, a prioritizing of 34 themes that we've all got. But it just helped you sort those top 5 things to the top and give language around something. And so it's just a tool, like any tool. I just think it's a really good one. And it's all around self-awareness. And so if you're going to talk about leadership, a massive drive in the last decade or so has been about self-awareness. Lots of leaders are not self-aware. And they get into positions of leadership. They fall on it, the business goes well or something, and suddenly they find themselves managing staff or managing product or having to stand up in front of people and communicate something, and it's stuff they've never done that before.
Right.
And so when I'm talking with leaders of organizations or businesses, non-for-profit, I often ask them one question, what are you good at?
Mm.
And we're just not used to working on what we're good at. We don't have a good language around it. We don't have really good examples. So they may say stuff like, oh, I'm really good with numbers.
Right.
I'm good with people. I said, well, how are you good with people? Well, I think I'm a good guy. It doesn't really, it's not specific enough.
Yeah.
What Strengths does is it helps us focus on 5 things that it's identified that you've answered in the question. So I just interpret results.
Yeah.
And it gives you a language to just drill down on those specific things.
Yeah.
So you can work on something with specificity rather than general.
Yeah.
When you only generally aim for something or work on something, you only get general results.
Yeah.
But when you can highlight something and put some structure around it, put some words around it, put some actions around it, you actually take it up a level.
Okay.
Most of our leadership development is about sorting yourself out, right?
Yeah.
It's about, hey, get your character right, work hard, develop this. You're not that good at that, so let's send you on a course.
Yes.
Let's work on what you are bad at.
Got it. Yeah.
But really good leaders don't do that. They actually work on what they're good at, and they make their weaknesses kind of irrelevant. So in my example, I dropped out of school really young. I'm dyslexic as. I can't even read a spreadsheet. Man, it took me ages, but I run an organization. It's massive.
Yeah.
Massive volunteerism. So if there's anything that I do that I've worked out is that I'm really good at a couple of things.
Yeah.
And if I've got a superhuman strength that I could say to anybody about leadership, I am completely unconsumed by being threatened by other people's brilliance. And so I surround myself with brilliance.
Good.
And I surround myself with people who have conversations. I don't even know what they're talking about sometimes.
Yeah.
I just got this other thing that I do that oversees a whole bunch of what's happening in culture, where we need to go, conversations I have. But man, I've got a whole team around me now that actually drive progress, drive detail, drive policy. I'm not good at that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm only good at a couple of things. So all you really need to do is be good at a few things, know what they are, get really good at that. And if you're at the sort of top of the food chain, so to speak, or you're responsible, you're holding responsibility for others, just work out what they've got going on.
Yeah.
And tools like this help you identify that and then create good pathways for them to grow in those areas and release them into your business. People who are happy actually outworking who they naturally are, man, you don't have to worry about productivity as much. You don't have to worry about the bottom line. That will come if people are actually enjoying their work and working out of that gifting that they've got, rather than just showing up, living for the weekend, can't wait to clock out on a Friday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you work with corporates in New Zealand.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the standouts for you compared to, because I know a bunch of strengths coaches. I was actually trained a long time back in that as well. But I think what's unique about you is that you work with corporates. I think a lot of the strengths coaches tend to work in that volunteer or one-on-one with individuals and that kind of stuff. So I'm really interested to know how or why are you called in to coach?
Look, for years I didn't want a bar of corporate. Honestly, my sweet spot is nonprofit. Youth leaders, community groups. That's where my happy home is.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't really understand business. I don't know how to break down a business. There's lots of good mentors. Like I coached somebody in England an organisation, and I coached them. It's great. One of the guys is in top tier business over there. And now when I went over to see them all again, he's coaching, but at this level, right. and he's not coaching like I'm coaching. He's coaching with his business skills and knowledge, and the coaching.
Got it.
Great. That's awesome. But I just want to dive into your soul, really, when I coach.
Yeah, right.
And I really want you to live fully out of who you are.
Yeah.
And so, as I say, the nonprofit, the community development stuff was where I was. That's my sweet spot.
Yeah.
But I just kept on being asked
to
come into business, and I thought, I don't want to go into business. Like the other day, I was at a franchise. I got asked to do a 2-hour lecture on working out of like your joy, working out of your talent, versus Strength Finder Coach. They didn't do Strength Finder Coach. They just wanted to work out how to actually do work well as business operators. I had no idea of that. I don't even know the industry. I stood at the front, and I have got this belief deep down inside that actually we all want to do good in the world. And your businesses can actually do good. And you can do good in your business if you're operating out of your sweet spot. And so I just talked about that, and they loved it.
Great.
And what I found is that lots of business owners are actually people too.
And
what I care about is people. I don't really care about making money. I don't. But if you look after your staff, your biggest asset is people, right? It's not your product. People think it is. It's actually your people. And if you're operating out of your own health and well-being, you actually take an interest in their health and well-being, the money will follow. And so I never go in talking about your KPIs, your strategies to get there. I don't care about that stuff. Funnily enough, lots of businesses actually, that's attractive because I'm not trying to sell them a product. I'm just trying to help them be better at who they are. They'll bring all that, everything that they are to their workplaces and their business, and their business will thrive. That's a bit different,
No, it's good, man. And I want to make it clear to those listening that you're not here to sell strengths coaching. I actually don't think you probably want any more business. It was just as we were talking about the different topics, I thought that the strengths coaching angle, the strengths coaching topic, or just understanding people's strengths inside of your business, inside your family, whatever it is, that will just be useful for a lot of the people listening.
That's great. Well, it's useful for life.
So
that's what I'm interested in. People living life well.
Because doing life is super hard. It's super hard to see the strengths in your kids sometimes because you're just so annoyed with them half the time. I love your kids. I never get annoyed with that guy. You're awesome, man. And he is. And I got distracted. But in a business, you have the same annoyance. You have the same, you're trying to achieve stuff. You are, I think,
with your staff.
Well, what I was about to say was, okay, here's a question for you. I'll put it to you as a question. Do you think most leaders are aware that they're not good at everything?
No. Well, deep down, there's a fear that you have to be good at everything because you are the leader. So you're supposed to be good at everything. You're supposed to know more than everybody else does, right? And you can't lose face because you're at the top of the food chain. A lot of business leaders get paid a lot more, so they should know. And so why should somebody who gets paid a lot less than you know more than you about the thing, right? And so there's these little lies, I think, that are unhelpful, or attitudes that are unhelpful. But if you're clear and you're full of integrity and you're honest about your limitations, I think the world will open up to you. That's what I've found with myself. My background isn't business development. I just really care about some certain things, and that passion has become, people want to gravitate to that cause, and because it's such a good cause, people want to give their best to it, and they fall in love with the cause rather than me. And what creating good, healthy expectations about yourself means that you can help create realistic expectations for others. So others will stop expecting you to be all things to them, delivering it, because you've been honest about it, because you know who you are and you operate out of who you are, not who you're not. You manage who you're not by employing around you people who are skilled in that.
And so you are very polite and said that when people don't do that, when they literally they don't realize that they think that they've got to be the best at everything, that you said the words, it's unhelpful. It actually can look really unhealthy, can't it? It can feel really bad. Can you describe what does it feel like for people when they're being led by someone who thinks they can do everything and is not utilizing the strengths of those around them?
It's like I get drawn into mediation every now and then by team leaders or bosses who think they're people. Oh yeah, my door's always open. I said, have you asked anybody about how they feel? when they come into the office and they're saying, you are a cold fish, man. We're terrified to come into the office because they are so focused on what they're doing and they can't interrupt that thought, right? What they've got going on needs to be finished. Otherwise, they'll get lost. And when that's said, then they'll take a breath and acknowledge who's in the room. But those 6, 7, 8 seconds, that other person's dying because they are relational people. They just want to, hey, how was your weekend? All that sort of stuff. And so when we know what's in the room and we know the hand we're dealt with, you know, and we can actually work on it, we can actually create structures and systems or processes that everybody can understand and work out together. Without that, people think they are things. There's another little window, right? I'll just draw it in my, here. So the 4, it's called the Johari window, right? Johari window. Okay. It's a little tool I use. Yeah. And 4 windows in our lives, right? And the first window is called the arena or the open space. It's the stuff that you know about me, I know about me. We all know it. It's public, whether it's good or bad, ugly, doesn't matter. It's known, right? Yes. Now, the windows aren't supposed to be all created the same size. The arena is supposed to be the biggest window of our life. It's not being transparent, it's being translucent, So you don't want everybody to know everything and what you're eating. Yeah. The second window is called the secret self. Yeah. Right? And the secret self is the self of shame, the stuff that you're hiding from, the things that you know you're not that good at, but you're fudging it, but everybody else actually really knows. It's the stuff that if you knew this about me, you might change your opinion about me, right? So you press it deep down inside, but it resides there. The idea to shrink that area, it's not healthy. It actually creates anxiety and stress, sleepless nights. You'll be found out one day, all that sort of stuff. Now, you need to tell somebody. You need to tell people and just be honest with it. We're not supposed to all be good at the same thing. And reduce that window by just making some people aware. Yeah. The third window is called the unknown. You don't know, I don't know when it happens. If it's public, well, we all know it goes into the arena. If it happens and it's private and I don't want you to know, I shove it into the hidden, the secret self, Then the fourth window is really interesting. It's called the blind spot. Yeah. We've all got them, and this is, when people say, I think I'm a generous person. No, you're not. It's the last time you gave time. I think I'm quite good under fire. Well, have you asked anybody? Have you asked your staff? Have you done a 360 review? When's the last time you had a review? What you think you do in all these situations and what your team think you do in it. And awareness is minimizing the distance between what people see as their reality of you and what you see as your reality of you. And the only way to shrink that area is by asking. And so lots of business owners don't care about asking. And so they do what they've always done, but they may be missing out on opportunities for their business, opportunities to grow within themselves, opportunities for their staff to grow within themselves. There's a whole bunch of good stuff that can come out of that, but self-awareness, again, it's just about self-awareness. Yeah. Many tools to get there.
Yeah. So when you're invited in, I'm guessing there's a desire, there's some awareness of some dysfunctionality or whatever. Is it typically the leader that's calling you in, or is it an underling?
Both.
Bit of both.
Bit of both.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Like I'm terrible at detail. Yeah. In fact, I was going to say I don't care about the detail, but I really care about the detail. And I care that it's done really, really well, but I know I can't do it. Yeah. And so I've had to put people around me that can do the detail really well. It's interesting when you're younger, you get to our age and you can kind of choose what you do a little bit. Not everybody, but I've been fortunate enough that I get to say, well, this is what I'm really good at and this is what I want to do. And when I was younger, I was, I'm terrible at detail. Like I am literally the worst on the planet for detail. And early on in my career, I was forecast spreadsheets, forecasting out for years in advance at a line level for companies, and it was so hard. Yeah. I did it because I had to, because that was my job.
For sure.
And what I'm trying to get to is, I guess a lot of people might think, well, it doesn't matter what your strengths are. You've just got a job to do.
For sure.
And a lot of the time that's kind of true. But I guess if my leader at the time knew what I was good at, what I was more inclined to, he might have been able to positioned me that way more.
That's right.
But back then we never talked about that kind of stuff. And
Absolutely.
maybe it was because we didn't have Strengths Finder. I don't know. So I'm just keen on your comments
Well,
on that.
so when I got asked to direct the camp that I run, in that there's a lot of admin, and as I say, spreadsheets,
Yeah.
And so there was an idea that send me on a course, bring me up to speed, with them. And I said, look, at best, I'm going to be 5 times slower than anybody who's good at this. This is not a good use of time.
Yeah.
Right? I'm really good at talking to people.
Yeah.
I'm really good at creating a future and forecasting. My brain just jumps out 2 years. And so every Easter we get between 4,000 and 5,000 young people for one camp, right? But I'm already working on the camp and then this camp. Like I'm already thinking 3-4 years ahead before I've even got to the camp I'm running. And so rather than just getting through an event, this event actually lays the platform for the next event and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
That's the way my mind works. Rather than put me in a room, make me do, just surround me with admin people. They're so gifted at it. And I marvel when anybody is gifted at what they do and you watch them work, it's just a joy to work. Self-awareness, you won't let anybody do what they need to do if you're not self-aware. If you're self-aware with who you are, you pique an interest in who they are and you ask better questions about their workflow, their energy levels, what kind of people they are, and it's a better environment to work with.
This is fascinating. I think what Strengths Finder does is it gives you the freedom to be, okay, that explains why I struggle with that.
Absolutely.
Like the forecast and just the forecasting thing you talk about, I'm the same. We probably both got futuristic and so on. And so I'm very happy to forecast. In fact, when I can instantly think of the future and what the numbers, I can imagine what the profit looks like and I can think of the numbers and the costs and everything. But I just intuitively got a sense like that will work.
For sure.
I can make that work. But then I need someone to make sure it's working.
Absolutely. But you're fighting against the grain of years and years and years of conditioning. Thank God for our teachers, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there's never a report card that I brought home that when it was really low in one particular area that I needed to work on that area. So when my kids came home and they had their report cards, and every parent does this, we've got to lift the bar, okay, you've got to jump through some hoops. There's a standard that you've got to try and reach for. But when there's excellence in one, like one of my boys, he came home, he's very good at English. And so he wasn't that great at math. So my wife wanted to get him tutoring in math. And I said, the newsflash is he's never going to work in an arena.
Right, He's not going to be an accountant.
Let's get him some coaching in English. Right. He could be one of the greats, because he's naturally gifted at it. And point in case, I said, son, if you can write, the world will open up to you.
Yes.
And he majored on that. And he's a brilliant communicator now because we poured energy, time, encouragement into what he's naturally good at rather than making him do the grades and lift the bar all the time. We're so fixated on fixing our weaknesses and where we're not, and it's ingrained into us in society. Every parent knows this, right? Why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be more like this? Well, because they're not them.
Yeah, they're not them.
No.
Same home, same nature.
Yes.
We talk about nature versus nurture. It's all the same, and they just come out so different.
Absolutely.
And Strengths Finder gives some language to that, doesn't it? And you were talking before about the gap, about the waiting in the room while the guy. I'm a bit like that, where I'm focused on a task because I'm also task oriented, and I do need a moment to come away from what I'm in. And as long as if there was some language as a team where the person waiting for me understood that, then that gap. I remember, I think it was Andy Stanley once talked about that when there's a gap of unmet expectations, our humanity causes us to fill it with negativity.
Yeah.
We never go, that person's. We never fill it with positive expectations, but we always think the worst. We
always take it personally.
Yes.
They don't like me. We judge it.
Yeah.
And it's always to the negative.
Yeah, always.
Always to the negative.
Yeah. So closing those gaps, if we can have language and stuff, which I think is what you're talking about, and explain and understand each other, then that gap is minimized because all of a sudden we go,
Absolutely. So like Strengths Finder, I remember the first time that I had to I was running a young adult group overseas, community development stuff, and there was a young woman that I had to tell some news to, and somebody in the team said, "Nope, not right now." I said, "Oh yeah, nah," but and they said, "Blue, don't do this right now. Just trust me."
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I'm going to listen to that. That's wisdom.
Yeah.
It's wisdom coming from a relational lens that I didn't have at the time.
Yeah.
Rather than a strategic timing or anything. It was just that this person's not doing well right now. And so with Strength Finder, one of the things that it helps is that there's it breaks it down into 4 quadrants that the strengths are grouped in. One quadrant comes from thinking themes. And we think that all thinking is the same, but it's not. There's a spectrum of thinking from raw creative ideas and future-oriented right the way down to analytical, intellection, sort of data, detail. That has no emotion.
No.
Not a lot of creativity. They respond from data. Data is exciting for them. I don't understand data. So, but I really love it when these guys do. Okay, so you got that going on, firstly. Secondly, you've got relating themes. People who seem to be relationally connected to others. And they can pick up the vibe pretty quickly. They could walk into a room and know, oh, there's some tension in here without anything being said. They could walk past somebody and say, you're not feeling well today, and ask them for a cup of tea or whatever. And there's a range of relational things there. There's also something called executing themes. And that's I like to work with people who work hard at my pace, and they like getting stuff done. And there's a range of those, and it's fun, it's fast and furious, and never more happy than with a hammer in your hand or ticking a list off, crossing that off.
I love those examples.
Influencing themes.
Yes.
And they are themes that take people on a journey with you. And it's not just alone, it's not about a particular type of thinking, but it's about galvanizing people. And so when you know what you are, so for me, I'm pretty loaded in the influencing themes. And I was thinking, no, I've got no real, I thought I was a bit more friendly than that, or a bit more, it was the wrong thinking. If I was honest with myself, I get out of bed every day and I want to change things. I want to make the world better. I want to help people. And I thought, I am about that. I'm not talking about being an influencer, social, Instagram and whatever. I'm just talking about, I like to work with people, alongside people, and I like empowering people to be all they could be.
I love the few examples you gave there. The influence, those empathetic strengths. I like to think I'm empathetic, but I'm not. And I know I'm not, because there's people in my team who pick up on stuff that I have no idea about.
That's right.
Did you know this is going on? No.
That's right.
That person's not. Someone will walk in the room and the empathetic person in the room will go, there's something wrong there. And I'm like, really?
You got no cue.
No. And they've picked up on it. There's some...
Yes, spidey sense going out there, picking it up.
I love it. I don't know how that's designed into us, but and I depend on those. And so I there's a couple of those people I'm like, I need, anytime you pick it, let me know, because I don't sense it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you learn to, when you have a language for it and it's true for you, and it's a good fit, you learn to trust your instincts, and you learn to trust others. Right. So I've got a couple of mates who are really, really heady. They write down detailed data. Ooh, data. Okay. I don't even understand that. But I knew they loved me because of the question they asked me. Hey, Blue, what's your gut saying?
Yeah.
They got no idea about intuition. They don't work with intuition, but they know I do. And over time and call after call, they actually worked out that, okay, Blue's got something we don't understand, but we've learned to trust it, right? And I don't have what they've got, but I really trust that they've got it. And so what we do is we all do our bit to create something bigger together, and it works really well.
And those data people, when you're wired like you are, is fantastic, because from my experience of that is, it almost feels like a handbrake. That data can often, hang on. We need to do that, the numbers. I need to, and I'm like, we need to act, because I'm an activator as well. But I've learned to get them doing the numbers, have them doing the numbers. And that's not that they're not strategic still. One of them in particular is very strategic, but she needs to see the numbers. And I love that. And I need it, because often it's like, it's interesting. I had this idea that I thought was a winner, but we need to modify this plan.
That's right.
Because this ain't going to work.
That's right. So I had a mate who's a chair, and I've got more people like this in my life now that like leading with me, working with me is like a white knuckle ride for them. You know, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, okay, what dream are we doing now? What, where are we going?
Yes.
And their inner question is, can you show me the data?
Yeah.
Can you show me the plan? How's this going to work? What's the detail in that? And so rather than being threatened by each other and that handbrake feel, no, they ask good questions and I slow down a little bit. And that margin is everything, right? And then everything is better. Yeah. So this used to happen with my wife. Yeah. I'd go, oh, honey, we got to do this. Yeah. And she'd go, yeah. And then I'd go to buy the thing or build the thing or dig up the game and do it. And she'd go, oh, hang on, I haven't committed to that. And I said, you did so. I used to call them pretend agreements and all that sort of stuff. I had really bad language about it. I felt like the rug was ripped off from underneath my feet and all my energy was gone. I was frustrated. Then I changed the way I listened, right? And because Strengths helped us with this. Yeah. And I thought, oh, wow, she's got some really fine processing stuff that I don't have. Yeah. And so we talked about it. And what I do now is I come up with the plan. Yeah. Wouldn't it be great if, and I can see it, and straight away I'm already walking it, I'm living it, and I'm building it.
You've already done it.
And then I wait. And I give space for all that she's awesome at to come to the fore. And she comes up with, I've been thinking about this. And I reckon if we did it like this, and it's always better. Yeah, it's more refined. It's got more detail. It's richer. Yes, and it's I can feel it better. I mean, so I don't try and do the whole plan now. I actually work with people who can join me and co-create the plan together, and it's always better. Yep. But you've just got to not be threatened to do that.
Gosh, and that comes with age. It comes with a bit of maturity, and losing your pride and actually knowing you're not good at some stuff.
Just holding it a bit looser. Yeah,
Because I know when this handbrake person in my life, I'm talking inside her work, and hope she listens to this podcast because she's so valuable. That handbrake moment is valuable, and I've had to. Those can be really clashy moments where we're talking about the same thing, and we're almost at like this, but she's just needing to do some data. She's picked up on something that she thinks the numbers don't work, and she, you know what I mean? And I've just got to, I'm learning at that point.
Yeah, I did. We had a situation last year just before camp around, health and safety. Yeah. And I developed a plan way back in the day, and my crew wanted to change the plan. And I thought, no, this is done. And they're all coming at me from different, and I said something I haven't said ever. I'm sorry, guys, I got to veto this. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Man, it was a long drive home. We stopped for coffee on the way, and I stopped in at the car. We had a petrol station, and we're getting a coffee filling up. And I said, "Hey guys, guests come around. I'm really sorry I used that language. That's not who I want to be. That's not what I want to do. I just think I know some stuff, but you know what? I'm not the future. You guys are. So why don't you guys create the plan and I will let you guys run with it." Well, their response was really interesting. Straight away, they said, "Oh, no, we don't want that. You know stuff we don't know." I said, "Oh, how about I just be in the room and ask questions?" It's really important the older you get that you don't steer the future that other people have to lead in. Yeah. We do it with businesses. All the time. You've got the new young guns in the business and absolutely hamstrung by the old guard all the time. Can't get a run at it. And so with wisdom, with age should come wisdom and should come some risk, and allowing some stuff to happen. You don't know what will happen. It might actually work better than you thought. Yeah. And so posturing yourself when you're holding responsibility for others to actually grow ownership beneath you, if you want to use that language, so that others will thrive. They'll stay longer. They'll commit because they've got ownership in it. If you've got all the decisions and all the ideas, well, it's always about you, and it won't be bigger than you. Yeah.
I'm in this at the moment. I've got some younger guys in the business, and they've both got more talent than I have in the jobs that they're doing. But I used to do that job once upon a time, and I'm wanting certain things done. And I'm having to be careful that I'm trying to learn. It's got to not sound like and feel like to me, I want it done this way.
That's right.
But I do want some outcomes.
Right.
And so what I'm learning to do is to find the outcomes and go, these are the outcomes, and I want you to report to me on those.
Right.
So I do actually want to see those outcomes.
KPIs, yeah.
KPIs. And there's only a few of them, guys. There's like 3 or 4 things. Just to tell me how they, and then do it differently. That's fine. I don't care about the way it's done. Yeah. And that has definitely been hard.
Yes.
And I have sensed that they have said basically their responses were about time. You know what I mean? Because I didn't realize I was being a handbrake to them because it was Mike's way.
Absolutely.
I didn't think that I would ever be a handbrake for anybody, you know?
No, but like people should be judged or whatever on their outcomes, not their processes.
100%.
Right? And that's a hard way to do when you've done something the whole way. So there's this mentality out there that I want to work with people who are like me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I understand them. It gets done really fast.
Yes.
And I'm saying, I think that's wrong thinking. I think that if you diversify and work with people who are completely different from you, you're actually stronger.
Yeah.
It takes a little time to get used to it, but you learn to trust it. And there's nothing miraculous about like-minded people hanging out together. A lecturer told me that once, and I thought, I've never forgotten it, because you will fool each other very quickly. Your wisdom is contained to this way of thinking, and that's it. And so ultimately, you might get there really fast, quickly for a short time, but you'll ultimately run out of steam because you don't have perspective, a wider perspective. So at an age that you are at, there's another thing, and this is a challenge for lots of business people. My sector, I do a lot of, the camp I run is youth camp. So I've been in youth work for 42 years, you know. I know a lot about youth work. But if we try to have a conversation right now about how young people have a conversation, I guarantee you, I have no idea. So what I need to do continuously is meet with teenagers, meet with early 20s, meet with 30s. And so I'm constantly having groups feed back to me so that I'm not out of touch. Now, just because I'm getting that feedback doesn't mean I'm a young person, right? At my age and stage of life, understanding how young people in our business, think about it, young people who are 30, even younger, 40, they're still hustling. They're still looking for their next thing. They're still wanting to make a dent in the world. They're still wanting to leave their mark. They're still wanting to prove themselves, right? When you get over that over 50 mark, it's the second stage of life. It's the stuff that you're supposed to be giving all your secrets away. Now, you want to keep trade secrets, of course, because that's your brand and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I get that. I don't care. You know, in my industry with youth work and that, I just want the next generation to succeed. So anything I've learned over the last 42 years of youth work or event management or whatever, leadership, I'm just giving it away as much as I can so that there's a future for a generation that is still in that building stage.
Yes.
You know, you've got your house, you've had a mortgage, you've had 3 houses. They're just trying to get money to buy a house or a car or whatever. So it's a very different age bracket that we're working with. And we've got to be mindful of that when we're leading. I cannot expect my kids to buy a house the same way I did when I was young. I cannot expect the financial pressure that I had to be the same as they've got. They're very different. So understanding where they're at and giving them opportunities to grow their way, you'll be amazed with what they can offer.
I agree. I think it's a massive challenge it's a massive challenge for guys my age and above. I think my challenge is I need to grow the business big enough that I can afford to have more, so that I got more young people coming through, so that I get more options, so that I can step out at some point, or at least hand off more, so that at some point my life looks easier. That requires a lot of me. So I'm having to push harder than I've probably ever pushed because I'm trying to grow the thing big enough so that I can bring more in. So that's an interesting thing. But what it's also doing is allowing me to bring more people, my younger people into the business, and then I have to get better at allowing them to do what we talked about before, which is, hey, we need to do things different.
For sure. Absolutely.
That's.
But it will never, ever rise past you. You are the limit. If it's all about you, you are the bottleneck.
Yeah.
All the time. Every time.
I do not like bottlenecks.
Right. So if you alleviate that by broadening everything, then the ceiling keeps on rising.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have people working with me now that I pay them nix because it's mostly volunteers, you know.
Right.
I pay very few people and pay them poorly because it's a non-profit, you know. Like I was just saying to you before, I think I've worked full-time once for a 3-month period in the last 30 years. I haven't been paid full-time, and I live the life of my dreams.
Yeah.
Because it affords me to be able to focus on the things I really want to build and invest into other people. And so when I work to do some things, it pays for the things that I want to do as well, so I get the best of both. And I'm surrounded by people that I can't afford to pay for their worth, because they are industry giants, but they want to be part of this thing.
That's so
they
good.
come and work for me for nix.
That's so good.
Because they love it. Because the pressures are different. They get to influence it. They get to shape it with me. So what is said about me, and this is what they have said, is that I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on social media. I don't even know what they're putting out there. They said, you're the most trusting leader, the trusting boss we've ever had. We love working for you because you don't micromanage us, but you've got a handle on the whole thing, and you support and encourage us continuously. I treat my crew like a family, and I want to do that as much as I can, as much as that's what they want. And I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of young people who just, their creative ideas are insane, and it keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
They're fresh. They're the cutting edge of the future.
Yes.
Not me. I'm just holding space for them.
Just changing tact a little bit, you'll probably know the resource. I forget the author, where it was a pyramid, and at the bottom was trust.
Right.
Do you remember? Do you know that one? It's like there's five
pillars or something.
5 pillars of good teams or something. And this idea is that on top of trust, you can build communication, and you build up to this peak. But trust is at the bottom. And because if the staff don't trust you, if the younger ones don't trust you to make a space for them, or that you're going to allow them to use some of their strengths and what they're good at. So they're sitting on the computer all day going, man, I'm doing this computer thing, but I'm really good at this, and you never provide space for that. Then you've got this massive trust gap.
Yeah, okay. So way back, I've got a trade.
Jim Collins.
Jim Collins,
I think. Yeah.
I got a trade in panel beating, and I became one of the youngest foremen in the Wellington district. Had the biggest body panel shop, sort of had 16 staff at the time, which for New Zealand and the city, it was pretty big. I was 27, and when I took over the foremanship, we had productivity and efficiency of 34 and 32%, right? The costing took over as a manager because I didn't want to bar the office. So I ran all the floor, the customers, the insurance agents, the tools, the stock, the spare parts, and he took care of all the costings in it. The big dealer principal used to come over every day and say, "Blue, you need to crack that whip, man. You need to get and crack that whip." And I said, Nah, I'm not going to do it. He'd yell and scream at me and huff and puff, and every day he'd just come over, "Blue, I want you to crack that whip." I said, "No, I'm not going to do it. People like me, they don't like you."
Yeah.
He's a good guy. He says, so what's your strategy here? What's your game plan? How are you going to turn the ship around? I said, I'm just principles that I like in life. I'm going to treat people with dignity and respect. I'm going to educate them in terms of the processes for how we lose money and how we gain money.
Yes.
I'm going to inform them of the process continuously, and we're going to have dialogue. But dignity and respect are going to be the bedrock that I actually turn the ship around. Within a year, we were 134 and 136% efficient productive.
Wow.
Right, we turned it around. Now remember, I didn't know how to read a spreadsheet. Didn't even know how to read a budget. It wasn't about those things. He took care of that. I took care of people, right?
Yeah.
They're our most valuable asset rather than to be whipped and flogged. Your people in any business are your most valuable asset, not what you make, not what you do, but how you do it with others. And so my question is, for any business owner, what can you do that when your staff are tried to be poached by somebody else and maybe more money, what can you do now that would stop that? That would actually make your staff not want to leave because this is the best place they've been, right? You're the best boss they've been. And best bosses aren't just about inviting them to play a game of golf or giving them a bonus. Lots of people are not motivated by bonuses. They're motivated by belonging. or influence or the opportunity to help shape. There's lots of ways to do it, and you'll never get to there if you're not self-aware of yourself and self-aware of your crew. So what would keep your crew here? Because I'm unlikely. We had somebody who was a cleaner at one of the non-profit cafes that we created. There was a chance to become a chef, and he had a bit of a chefing background, came into the country and basically started cleaning because there was an opening for cleaning. We offered him a job. He goes, yeah, I'll take it. I said, why are you so keen? He said, this is going to be the very best place I've ever worked at in my life and likely to be. You know, we got him into another career with a really, really good boss as well. And he loves it again. He will not leave. So loyal, so faithful to us and them because we treated him well. We treated him really well. And it wasn't about good wages because we couldn't. You know, it wasn't about bonuses. It was about belonging. Yeah.
That's good, man. It's so true. There's something I've tried doing in the business, which I'll be really keen on your feedback on, because I suspect this is a problem that other business leaders or anybody in business has experienced. So when I'm delegating a task and said, hey, we need to do this, what I've found is that when I say we need this done, they're hearing something completely different. And so when they go and do that thing, they're doing something not what I've asked.
Right.
They're doing, and in fact, sometimes they're doing the exact opposite, so that the result is even worse than what. Right. And so this has been quite perplexing to me, and has been part of my journey where I used to be able to do everything, and now it's got to the point where I'm having to delegate everything and do virtually nothing. And so what I've done is I've and I want to know what winning looks like. So I've just said, let's call them winning moments. So I said, what does winning look like when we do this? Right. And so I define it from my perspective. And then I'm saying, so winning, when we get this done, winning looks like this for this thing, when I feel like it's a win when this happens, and then get them to repeat it back. And often they repeat back something completely different.
That's right.
And then I'll go, no, that's not what I meant, it's this. And then they'll repeat it back again, and they're still, until we go backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, sometimes 5 or 6 times before we actually get that, okay, now we're all on the same page. And often in that process, they'll challenge me. It's quite challenging, because that's when they're saying to me, well, does it have to look like that, Mike, that process? And I'm like, well, no, you're right. It could be the way you're thinking. It's just this outcome is what I want. Yep. Whereas in the past, I haven't taken the time to have that conversation. I've just said, can you just take care of this, please? Sure. Thinking they understand my mind and what I'm...
And you've got a massive amount of assumptions to how they actually hear information.
Yeah.
And if you were self-aware and aware of others, there'd be some like simple facts that are really key to helping key information be assimilated, understood and worked out. So, for instance, I get your crew together and I do a talk today, and I tell them some things that are going to happen. Right? There is what I say. There is how I say what I say. There's how I look when I say what I say. Right? They're 3 different things. And if you had a percentage on what I say about what's the most important and what's the percentages that are taken home, right?
It's probably opposite to what I think, yeah. No. It's probably how you look. Is it? Number 1, or...
So, 7% of what I say is retained.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's nothing.
7%.
Yeah.
Like most of my life is public speaking to thousands of people. 7%. Like how I say what I say is in the mid-30s. 50-something%. I can't remember the stats off the top of my head. I think it's 54% is how I look when I say what I say. The least important thing. What can we do with what God gave us? Look, we've only got to have it.
We're in trouble, man.
We're in trouble. So my point is we have to fight for the 7%.
We do.
We fight for the 7%. Yeah. If we want that 7%, here's the worst stat. Within 3 days.
It's gone.
About 90% of it's gone.
Yeah.
Of the 7%.
Yeah.
So communication is key to actually sticking that 7%. You're making it stick, you know? And so what we're talking about here with you is about processes. Here's the plan. Yeah. Do we understand the plan? Here's what I understand the process to make that plan happen, and here's your role in that plan. It's got to be spelt out. So if I'm a data person and I'm listening to you, all I want is the plan. I don't want your highfalutin ideas because I don't land those. When I'm talking with my wife, she is so like that. She says, no, I need to see a drawing of it. I need to map it out. Whereas I can visualize it in my head. So it's pretty easy for me and you, right? She doesn't work like that. So it's not fair for me to always communicate the way I like to do because it's not landing with her. So like, it's a bit of a no-brainer, eh? You've got to actually communicate to the audience. That's the key to communication, making sure they understand what's being communicated, take it home and use it, rather than what I think I've communicated.
Yeah.
So much leadership is about, no, I said that. No, I communicated that. I was really clear in your mind. And you don't see it rolled out. Yeah. And you're wondering why.
And you know you're not clear because they didn't understand it.
Because they didn't do it.
Man. So what I've done, and I'm asking you for a critique, and I think this just because this conversation is helpful, not because I think my way is good. I'm genuinely interested in a critique. There was a guy he was in the US Army, and I heard him talking about 15-meter targets and 5-meter targets. Right. And so I've adopted that because often I'm having staff coming at me all the time. Oh, we should do this. We should do that. We should do this. And so I'm able to go, okay, is it a 15-meter target or a 5-meter target? Because the idea with a 5-meter target is if you're in the Army and if someone's 5 meters away coming at with your knife, you're about to die or a gun. So you need to shoot them. You've got to hit that target. The 15-meter one, you shoot next because they're not right there. The 10 meters further beyond, but the 5-meter one, you've got to hit that now. So that's been helpful for my team. They're like, oh, I get that now. So I'm able to say, is this 5-meter or 15? And because I can only deal in the business with so many 5-meter targets.
For sure.
And at the moment we've got like 8 or 9 that we're trying to deal with, and it's too many in reality. Sure. So that's helpful. So then we're only having these conversations about the 5-meter targets. And we're talking about what winning looks like. And then the next part is with the gun metaphor, as I'm saying to them, okay, let's define the technique. What does taking a shot at this target look like? Let's imagine we're drawing the gun. How are we standing? What's the stance? Where are our feet? What's the position? All of it. Like what is our technique? Are our shoulders turned? All that kind of thing. And just using that idea of how are we going to take the shot at this thing we've just talked about looks like this, but what's our first step? What's our next step? What's the third step? And having them define what their technique's going to be. Yeah. It's been really helpful to get on the same page because they'll say something and I'm like, oh, the problem with that, if you do it that way, then this might happen.
That's right.
And then we're able to go, oh, okay, what if we do this? And so having that defined at the start, and then we go okay, so we're going to go, when are we going to take our first shot? Oh, we'll do it next week. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, we can fit that shot in next week. Can't do it this week because we're too busy. Or maybe we need to take it in a month because we've got 5 other things we're taking a shot at the moment. When are we going to report back on it? And then how did it go? And then so they're able to come back and go, well, we tried this technique. It didn't work. This happened and this happened. Oh, okay. And sometimes you're like, you know what? This whole thing is wrong. The definition of winning is wrong. We need to change it. That's all sounding very abstract. I should have an example to make this clear, but did that kind of make sense?
So I use deadlines.
Right.
My 5 meters are deadlines. Right?
Okay.
And so it might be 15 meters out here.
Yeah.
But the closer it gets is 5 meters.
It becomes a 5-meter target.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing a wedding, I've got to talk, there's a date in the calendar and it drives me to that. So I can leave the 15s out there, but I know they'll become 5 meters eventually. Right.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So deadlines and processes. I'm a big fan of do something, give it a crack, and then assess. Right?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Do and assess. True. Do and assess. Is it working? Do we need to alter?
And the doing, you're happy for it to be complete failure?
Yeah.
Because as long as we assess it and work out what we need to do different?
I don't work well in a room thinking up all a plan.
No.
So if you think about a fire plan, right? Lots of fire plans designed by people sitting in a room, okay?
You're talking about like
talking about an event that's going in the future.
Health and safety fires, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's right. No, just in terms of evacuation and stuff like that. And in a venue that they're not in. I like to do the thing in the place and then look at the worst scenario. So I changed the fire plan once. In the middle of, the alarm went off. It wasn't a real fire, but I had to evacuate 4,500 people. It was fun to get them out, put them in the village, and I did not follow the plan because I didn't make the plan. You know, and the plan was that they were supposed to go out into the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Well, there's no lights in the middle of the field. There's a good plan in the middle of the day in an office,
Yes.
you know, 200 kilometers away.
Yeah.
But there was no way to communicate with them. There was no way to get them into groups because they were all numbered off in different groups, and there was no lighting. It was raining. You know, that was a dumb plan. There was a better plan. But when you are in the moment and can cause an effect and all that sort of stuff, you've got more information to make better plans. Firstly. Secondly, how many people have you got in a room to help develop the plan that have different gifts and abilities?
Yes.
Yeah. So knowing what you bring and knowing what you see, you add to rather than dictate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it may be valid what you see, but you can't see everything because you've got blind spots and you've got a particular way of thinking, not every way of thinking. And that's where getting others in, just know what you bring, know what you have to offer, know the value of that and offer that rather than,
yeah.
Because
that's my first response is no. And then that's terrible. You know you're shutting them down and you know you're losing them.
Because you're losing control, right?
Yes.
And
losing control, yeah.
As three sisters, fear and anger, they all hang out together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so how many bosses lose their rag at their employees because they are feeling lost control?
Just feeling attacked.
Right. Yeah. Or they didn't do what you said them to do because they didn't understand it in the right way. And they blame everybody else. That's low awareness.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm saying I think I'm aware, but I know I do it. So that I guess I'm aware to the fact that, and I've been going not straight back out, but after a time going, okay, I'm sorry. That no shouldn't have been said. We need to have a conversation. You know? And often it's about the stuff because in the past, I've seen it go wrong. I've seen us when we did that thing before and the pain that caused the business or me or whatever.
Yeah, but new people don't make the same mistakes necessarily.
Yeah.
And we had that time because we're old.
Yes.
That did go wrong. And while that may help inform the decisions we make today, we're not there and they didn't do it.
Yes.
But they're paying for the sins of those who went before. That's not really fair.
No, it's
They've
not.
got to make their own mistakes and learn from them.
Makes me feel good though. As long as I feel good, that's what
I was right 20 years ago and I must still be right today.
Exactly. It's terrible. But I'm thinking a lot of people relate to this. And so the Strengths Finder, I guess, is just another tool that we can add to our toolbox to help us bring clarity to what we're good at, what we're not good at, and the talents in our team. Yeah. And how to utilize that talent.
Imagine, every business has a sales team, but employing somebody who can't really talk well or convince anybody, and that's not to manipulate anything. It's just that they're not good at that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to employ them for that.
No.
So there's lots of gifts that are available.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And we should glean them from our team and create belonging.
The 5 dysfunctions of the team is the triangle. I've just thought of it. Trust, and there was the other dysfunctions in there, but all the dysfunctions come off a lack of trust. Anyway, I just had to close the loop on that in case people wanted to critique me on that. What would you say then, just to sort of finish up, would be when you're stepping into a team coaching scenario, a common dysfunction, the most common dysfunction or struggle? Is it what we've talked about, or is there something else that you think we should just mention?
Yeah. I think the most common one is unrealistic expectations on team leaders.
Explain what you mean.
Well, as I say, the team leader, the owner of the business, whatever it is, the founder of the organization, they often think they have to be really good at everything. And they often think that the position entitles them for more say than they should probably have because they've got skin in the game. And there's some right in that, absolutely. It's one way of seeing it. It's a very limited way of seeing it in my personal view. And so they keep awake at night trying to be all things to all people. And they just can't do it. They can't win. And so they're getting less wins on the board every day and more losses. They just can't be because they're not wired that way. The other thing is, without understanding who you are, you might miss opportunities. I've sat with leaders people have missed out on jobs or opportunities. They just didn't know how to go about it. They didn't put their best foot forward. They'd go in and go, well, I'm good with people, but it's not good enough. The biggest thing is their inability to actually create realistic expectations to their staff with honesty. That's a big one. And it ultimately hurts them because they're not trusting their staff. And their staff have unrealistic expectations for them. And they want them to solve all their problems. So having good honesty, good conversations around this stuff is really important because it helps set really good culture, really good expectations. And you can meet those. Lowers anxiety. Everybody gets to play rather than the one person. It makes sense?
It does. Love it.
Good leaders create succession plans around them, even while they're still holding the responsibility. It's so important.
So good, man. That's a fantastic challenge. So the great thing is with StrengthsFinder is it's global. So if the people are in Australia listening to this or the States or wherever, they will find, or actually the StrengthsFinder test is online. They can do it themselves now, today. They can get their own results. They can get their team to do it.
And honestly, one of the biggest questions when I've done this with people is that, oh my goodness, you may have saved my marriage. My wife needs to hear this. You know, and so it's not just about your business; it's about your life. That's why I say I don't care about business. I care about life.
It's so
and
funny.
And bosses who do this for their staff, there is a couple of things there. Sometimes their staff are going, well, what do you want to find out about me? Do I have to tell you something personal about? Are they wanting to fire me? Am I not good enough in my job? Rather than, hey, it's a gift for your life. You know, it's awesome. And you can take that home to your family, and it works out with your kids and all sorts of that kind of understanding. So that's good. There's lots of tools out there. Strengths may not be your one, but there's others that are good. And I just think that for me, it gave me great clarity about who I was and who I wasn't. And that was great.
Well, Blue, I appreciate that, man. It's so good hanging out with you. We're actually going to cook some pizzas soon. So keep an eye out on the next video. Blue you have your flare fire. We were talking, you probably are one of the highest users of a flare fire in New Zealand, maybe globally, who knows? You're certainly entertaining for big crowds like every week, all the time. And I love that. And you're constantly feeding me ideas on how to use it and how to improve it. So thanks for that. Looking forward, we're about to cook a bunch of pizzas, and you've got some new ways that you're going to do things that I haven't done before. So thanks for that. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Appreciate it. Cheers. See you next time.